What's up, YouTube? It's Mr.BuyTheDip back here with another video. I told you guys, take advantages of the market right now, okay? When certain big names go down, you got to be able to seize upon those opportunities. I want to say shout out to everybody that, is patient enough to understand this game and give it time, okay? I'm going to hit a couple notes with you guys, okay? I label this investor first approach for a reason, okay? No matter how much money you make sure to keep acquiring assets. Let me just show you guys how much I made with AMD, okay? And I made a video on this a couple days ago saying you can make a lot of money with this tech stock. Go back to that video, okay? Today, my 170 call on AMD, I sold it and I made $4,892, okay? Up 1,000%. We absolutely nailed, okay? We nailed this play. Now, a lot of people are going to say, when do I re-enter? When do I, how do I make money? The thing is, I wasn't expecting to make this much. If I go up 20 to 40 to 60%, I take my money out. It's just these companies know when to put this type of news out, okay, to boost their stock up. I want you to just look at AMD last week, okay? We went up to 170, 171. We got shot right back down to 164, okay? And people were saying we're going to go back down to 159, 160. Which was a good argument, right? But this time of the market is irrational. We're in a government shutdown right now, you guys, okay? We're in a time where there's a lot of uncertainty. But we have been presented this before. When it was with tariffs this year and went all the way down to $85 a share, we kind of didn't see that type of aggression from Trump. That's why a lot of things dropped, okay? Now, the stock is up to over 22%, okay, about year to date. But I want you to know that this is not the time to buy. The deal was great. I'm not saying the deal wasn't great. Everything that this company did was amazing. It hit 200 before NVIDIA hit 200. Obviously, NVIDIA did a split. NVIDIA has ran up to 1,000. But when we talk about current share prices, it's kind of doing better than NVIDIA as of today, okay, as of, the last few days. But NVIDIA is still the top dog. NVIDIA still has the numbers. But the potential of this agreement, okay, AMD and OpenAI have entered a multi-year. So this is not a 1 year, 2 year, no. It's multi-year, multi-generational chip supply agreement. So they're going to sell these chips to them, right? Under OpenAI, they will deploy up to 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs over time, okay? And then AMD's projecting that this deal and related AI demand could generate tens of billions, okay? So when you hear that tens of billions of dollars that could be generated from this AI deal, do you think the AI bubble is going to quote-unquote burst or it's going to slow down? In the next year or two, I will say definitely no, absolutely not. Now, we may get levels of 160, 159 again, but I want you to see where the stock can go. They're just teasing us with this, right? We don't have the numbers yet. AMD hasn't shown us that, oh, this is what our revenue is doing after this deal. They just kind of gave us a teaser. They're just giving us projections. They're forecasting. They're telling us what this deal can do. The numbers are still not said and done. So we have to wait for those numbers to add up. So what do you think the stock is going to do when they actually start pulling in those numbers? This is going to be a $500+ billion market cap company. I want you to see that when we go back down and kind of cool off to 160, and if you want to get in as an investor, that is the time to do it. And then, guess what you can do then? You can ride that share price up to 230, 240 in the matter of a couple years, make good amount of money off the shares. And then while you do that, you can obviously trade options. Now, I talk about options a lot, okay? And options can make or break your account. For example, okay, I want you to see that I was kind of plateauing at $2,000, and one option play is all it takes for me to be at $7,000 now, okay? What I do with the money I've earned with AMD is what I call investor first approach. I'm going to put money aside to invest in this company. Fast money is good money, but how sustainable is your trading skills? And if it's not as sustainable, or even if it's as sustainable, you have to set money aside to build wealth. Anybody can make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in a couple weeks, in a couple months off stocks, right? By taking those risks. But this was a very, 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 I told you it was a heavy risk-based option. And the amount of money I got back shows that it was heavy risk-based. Now, my risk tolerance really depends, right? It really depends on what I'm doing. SCHD, I'm going to hold this for 15 years, I told you guys. But what I made with AMD, I'm going to get at least $600, $500 worth of SCHD now to increase my dividend amount. This is chess, guys. I'm playing chess, not checkers. You have to be able to look at the game with transparency. There's losses involved in this too. I'm not saying I don't lose. You may see a lot of green here, right? But I did lose with Alibaba, right? But I was very patient. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep snagging a little bit of profit. And then I want Uber to go to 99. But then I want AMD to make me some good money. I'm going to trade AMD, trade options with AMD. That's exactly what I did. Now, when we talk about revenue, numbers is very important for this company. So critically, this deal is not exclusive. Okay, AMD remains free to sell to other customers and to partner with other firms. If y'all know, AMD partnered with Microsoft in the summer, right, around June and July. So they already have a partnership with Microsoft. Take a few things here, okay? So Microsoft, they have a partnership with Microsoft, then with OpenAI, okay? And when we talk about their competitor, NVIDIA, they're doing everything it takes to keep up with NVIDIA. So if you're somebody who bought in at 160, 150 with the shares, and you're like, I want to sell today at 210, 220, go ahead, right? That's a nice price target to have. But you're saying, I want a re-entry. Where do I re-enter? I'll tell you this right now. I am going to re-enter the stock around 150. Anything 150s, anything below 160 is a re-entry. Because guess what? And not only by holding the stock for a couple years, you can make a killing just off of swing trading the stock. We were up almost 37% on the day, you guys. Why is that though? Because AMD is also giving OpenAI the option to buy their stock shares. So basically they're saying, we're also going to let you buy our shares. So OpenAI can buy AMD's shares, okay, where OpenAI can make money, but then AMD is going to make money by selling to OpenAI. This is an amazing deal overall, okay? And once the numbers start kicking in, this is just the hype. I want you to know, this move is just the hype. So when we settle and the numbers start kicking in, because we're going to get a drop off sooner or later. I mean, November, December, this has been going on since May, you guys. Past 3 months, the stock is up now 53%, okay? And this has been going since really May. Look at May. If you miss anything from May to September to November to December, be very patient. I mean, you're going to get another opportunity soon. If we see 155, 160, that is have a time horizon of a year or two. As an investor, okay, investor first approach means I want to buy this company because I believe they're going to put out good numbers. Not only just because their price swings a lot, okay. That's a trader approach. You want to trade companies that price swings really quick. They go up and down. You make a lot of money quick. And that's what I did. But even though I'm at $4,000, you guys, I still want more of an investor first approach because I want to build wealth with the stock market. It is good to make quick money. I know that 1,000% seems very, very nice. But let me tell you this. If you don't have a dividend paying stock, if you don't have a good ETF, for example, QQQM or QQQ, I just sold QQQ to get into QQQM. Or if you don't have a good growth stock like Google you're holding, or something like NVIDIA that you hold with a low average cost per share, you just want to get rich quick. That is the worst approach to have. You can make a lot of money trading options. I'm going to say this over and over again, but you can lose a lot of money trying to get rich quick. I'm going to manage this $4,800 with pure efficiency, okay, and effectiveness. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to say, okay, let me take taxes out, okay? I'm going to put about $600 aside to invest in either AMD, NVIDIA, or Google when they drop down, because these stocks are going to drop. We're going to get a huge correction because everything is overvalued right now. Alibaba, for example, I saw the stock at $110. It's at $190, $180 right now. Okay, Palantir, I saw it at 149. Okay, so when some of these stocks drop down, that's where I'm going to enter with the money I made with my option contract. Because I already know AMD has a deal of generating tens of billions of dollars, as they say, right? And AI is not going to slow up. If you see companies still investing so heavily in AI, it's not going to slow up. But when you make that quick money with AI, you know, for example, a lot of people say, you know, stock market is very risky, right? People that are older, because they have lived through the 2008 financial crisis. They have lived through the dot-com bubble burst, whatever, right? When there was a huge drop-off in the 90s and then 2008. Nobody knew what Nokia was going to do. For example, if you compare Nokia, the phone company, to Apple, okay, you're going to say, who even buys Nokia now, right? But if you compare it to Apple, Apple blew it out of the water, right? We look at it the last 5 years, this stock hasn't did nothing, right? We look at it back in 2000s, right? You get nice big swings back in the 1990s, right? And that's kind of like the psychological way the markets like to swing. Now, if you look at Apple, obviously it's been up and up and up. So AMD, Nvidia, which company is really going to win the AI race? It's not going to be 5-10 companies. It's not. But on your journey, okay, you need to invest in some of these companies for a year or two, make money off of that, then make money off of options. Let me know if that makes sense. And have a different approach. Now, I'm looking at Google, okay? I'm looking at Google not only because they invest in AI. That's just an additional point. I'm investing in Google, or I'm going to wait for a pullback to invest in Google, somewhere around, like, you know, under, when we have a huge correction, anything under $205, this is a buy, okay? But I invest in Google because I really like their search engine. Their search engine is nice. They have YouTube, right? And even if ChatGPT comes out with something like, or OpenAl comes out with another partnership with a big tech company, at the end of the day, people are still going to use Google. So I'm still going to invest in this. Now, AMD, okay, or Nvidia, a lot of these stocks, they run off of hype. The numbers haven't even put out yet. We saw they can buy back, we can generate a lot of money. But until those numbers are put out, I mean, I'm not going to, you know, really settle down and invest. First of all, I need the share price to calm down if you're an investor. If you want to say, I want to hold AMD for another year, this is going to be a $200+ stock. As of right now, is it $200+ stock? No, it's not. This right here was just a sell opportunity to make some nice money. And that's exactly what I did. At 9:30 exactly, I closed my trade out because I don't believe it's a $200 stock right now. In the future, yes. This is the hype of OpenAI, and people understand how important and big this deal is. So we see a huge drop down after that because people took profit and they realize this is not a $200 stock yet because they haven't produced those revenue numbers yet. They haven't showed us what OpenAI, Microsoft, Xbox, gaming space have done for AMD. But until then, you guys, play the momentum. I like to say ride the waves. Make another 40, make another 30% on 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Manage your risk well. Have a dividend stock, right? So, for example, I have SCHD for 4 shares. As soon as my trade settles with AMD, I'm going to pocket about $600, $700, right? But most of my money is going to go right back into the markets. I'm going to buy some Walmart when they drop. I'm going to buy some QQQM. I'm going to buy some SCHD because I'm setting myself up to build wealth off of my quick profit I made from AMD. I told you, AMD is one of the best stocks you can swing trade. Why? It's in this tech industry sector, right? One of the most volatile industry sectors. News like this can make a lot of money. News is opportunity sometimes, but it's also, it can tank the stock 40-50%. A lot of times people say they like to trade on earnings. I don't like to do that because you're uncertain, right? I was expecting a swing back up to 170. They gave me $225 based on the news. So imagine what this company can do if we can have good news and good numbers to show that the OpenAI deal was actually worth the investment. Okay, so I'm looking like 2 years, 1 year ahead of AMD. I think they can definitely keep up with NVIDIA. There's no doubt about that, right? And then in the gaming space, if they can keep doing what they're doing, again, you guys, investor first approach, absolutely killing. This company is on the right path to make you money, okay? But it's on the right path to make you a good investor. It can make you quick money off the options I showed you guys, but always remember, investor first approach. Realize this is not a get rich quick scheme. You can hit big a few times, but what you do with that money is very, very, very important. Okay, let me know if you guys made money with AMD. Amazing partnerships, Microsoft, OpenAI. this company has more room to grow. It has more room to run. Okay, but give it another year or two. Wait for a pullback to buy shares of this company. And then if you've made money with your options, here's what I would do, right? I would load up SCHD. I would load up QQQM. I would load up my ETFs, and I would also save some of that money I made. Protect your capital. A lot of times people made 4,000. Man, I could flip this to 9,000 now. I could flip this to 12,000 now. That is the wrong approach. Understand how you're going to move next. My next move is going to be, I'm going to watch for Uber, okay? I'm going to watch for a pullback for Google. Everything is so high. It's scary right now. It's the most scariest time in the markets. Everybody's like, oh my God, everything is booming. We're currently in a government shutdown, which didn't really impact the market. Cool. This is not 2018, though. If you guys go back to 2018, we had a government shutdown there. I understand why it didn't affect the market then. But now, looking at the GDP, looking at the inflation rate, the market's getting scary. Make sure you're locking some profit exactly how I did it. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. AMD is going to make you a lot of money. NVIDIA is going to make you a lot of money. Man, these big tech stocks, Google, you got Palantir down at, if we go down to 149, 150, make your money and get out, please. But build wealth on the side. I don't hold anything if it's not a good long term. For example, Walmart. For example, QQQM. For example, SPY. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe.